I'm hitting. The NFL season is here. So it is time for Jack to make his predictions. You can check out my predictions on a different video. I may or may not go and tag it up in the corner. Probably not, but Jack, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to be clear too, by the way, these predictions were made before the start of this season. The season at the day we're recording this on Saturday. 2 games have already been played, but it's 2 games and we're not doing like record predictions, so it's like whatever. All right, let's jump right in. These are
Are
my
you saying
NFL
you're a
standings
coward, Jack?
predictions for what was that?
Are you saying you're a coward?
Am I saying I'm a coward? I don't know, but you didn't do predictions either for the record,
Hey,
so it
man,
is
I
what it
have
is.
them written out on my whiteboard that I showed you.
That's true. You do have them. I probably would have them somewhere if I had enough time to go through playoff predictor, but
Fair.
that's besides the point. All right, we're starting with the AFC East. Jets are going to finish last. Yeah, I don't see a whole lot with the Jets this year. Obviously losing Aaron Rodgers is I don't know if you call that an upgrade or a downgrade. Although Justin Fields is really in like an I need to prove what I can do type of situation, and having Garrett Wilson helps, having Brees Hall helps. So maybe they make a little bit of noise, but I don't really think they're going to do a whole lot this year in particular. Same kind of deal with the Patriots. Drake May is good; he can improve, but I still think that they've got quite a long ways to go. Dolphins are going to finish second in the AFC East. I still like some pieces, and Tua, if he's playing at his best, can make them a competitor. But this is Buffalo's division to lose, honestly. It's probably going to be scraps for second for the most part in this division, but Miami might be able to do something. Maybe the most likely to get an upset here or there, but this is Buffalo's to lose.
Yeah, I agree. I have Buffalo winning, and then 2 through 4. I think you can just kind of jumble them up. A nice opportunity to make some money if you think you know exactly the order goes. 2, 3, 4. Get a nice odds behind Buffalo there.
Okay, on to the AFC North. This is a very competitive division, but not Baltimore. Baltimore's not on the polar opposite. I meant to say Cleveland. There are 3 teams that have like B words in this division. So, yeah, Cleveland Browns gonna finish last. I figure it out, guys. Come on, what are we doing here in Cleveland? Seriously, still don't even know what their QB situation is outside of. I think Joe Flacco is their
Yeah,
starter.
Flacco week 1, and also Flacco returns to Baltimore in week 2, so his first game back at M&T Bank.
There you go. Stillers at third in the division. Really, I don't know what they're doing in Pittsburgh this year. You can't ever count Mike Tomlin out of it, but at the same time, it's like they haven't won a playoff game in forever. They haven't. They had an interesting turnover in the secondary too, because you add Jalen Ramsey, but then you lose Minka Fitzpatrick, and it's kind of like what's going on here. So Cincinnati, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. I fully expect them to cook. I expect them to hopefully not have a slow start. That's kind of the thing that has been hurting the Bengals as of late too. Their slow starts kind of have set the table for them in a bad way to start seasons as of late. So they have to pick it up there. They have to get off to a hot start this year. But if they do, I think that they can compete. And then this is Baltimore's division to lose. You talked about how you felt as though they have the best roster in the league.
Mm-hmm.
I somewhat agree. I will say best in the AFC.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really solid team.
For sure. And we can quibble between Baltimore and Philly and Chiefs fans, Bills fans. If you have pushback there, that's fine. I think that's more of a coaching thing and not even an expectation thing. I think even Bills fans would say that the Ravens are a more talented team. You saw how Bills fans flocked to say Lamar wasn't the MVP, given the All Pros and the Pro Bowlers that he plays with. So if you're making that argument, then I think by default you would say the Ravens have a more talented roster, even if Bills fans would take Allen over Lamar.
Sure. All right, moving on to the AFC South. Titans are going to finish in fourth. I do like Cam Ward. I think he gives them a piece to build around, but it's going to still take a lot of time in Tennessee. Same thing with the Jags. Trevor Lawrence, though, he can improve. I see this being a better year for Trevor Lawrence, but I don't really know how much it's going to move the needle. But I do like Travis Hunter for them too. So He'll help out a bit. Colts at 2. Honestly, you could probably interchange these 3, but this is Houston's division. They are clearly the better team right now with CJ Stroud, with Nico Collins. I think they did just lose Stephon Diggs, but I don't think it's going to hurt them that much at all. And Nick Chubb is a solid backup to Joe Mixon. So
If Mixon plays, he's
Mhm.
he's on the NFI list, I believe, right now, and he might be out for a long time. It's not off the board that he misses the entire season, unfortunately. So we might get a bit of a CMC ish season that like the injury like it's like, oh, he'll be out week 1. Then all of a sudden it's week 4, week 6, week 8. And it's like, is he ever coming back? But yeah, the Chubb, you can look at Woody Marks, 4th round pick out of USC. And of course, Dameon Pierce is still there, lost in the shuffle.
yeah. Okay, AFC West, Chargers in last. It's the Chargers. I mean, they're gonna probably. I know you're wearing the Chargers jersey too, which is ironic, but I don't really expect them to be any different than they were in several years prior. I mean, they basically have to show up and go like 6-0 to start the year to prove that they're like, okay, they might actually be for real this year. They're not going to choke, but we'll see what happens there.
Hey, they are 1-0 right
Raiders,
now.
that's true. They are.
Yeah.
As of this recording, they are 1-0. Raiders at 3. I know you and I have kind of differing opinions on the. I still feel like the Raiders have to prove it. I
Hmm.
agree that they have taken a step forward, but they need to prove it.
Sure.
And
Yeah,
yeah, organizational history proves otherwise. So I guess it's one of those wait and see type of teams.
sure.
Broncos at 2. I think this is a major year for the Broncos. I think that Sean Payton is going to have them do some pretty good things this year. But at the end of the day, to quote Pat McAfee, the Chiefs is still the Chiefs. So
Yep.
I want to check my notes actually because I forget. I think I have done. Yeah, I have Denver at least making the playoffs, but we'll touch on that a little bit later. Actually, let's touch on that right now. Because
Yeah.
here are the playoff predictions. You saw the divisional winners. The Bengals, the Broncos, and Dolphins will be the wild card teams, in my opinion. I know you said I would have my chance to defend Miami making it to the wild card. I just think that they're better than all the other potential wild card teams, if I'm being perfectly honest. But who
Okay.
knows?
I can see the vision. As a football fan, I root for players to be healthy, and I think a healthy Tua opens the door for Miami to make the playoffs. I still have major concerns in the secondary. Yes, you
Sure.
bring in Minka, but you and I are playing corner for them. That's a problem. I love the defensive line. They, get rid of Christian Wilkins after the 23 season. They've magically gotten better. Zach Sealer on the interior, he got a massive payday. Jalen Phillips coming back from injury. Bradley Chubb coming out of injury. Chop Robinson had a really nice rookie season. Kenneth Grant in the first round, nice pickup in the top 20. So I like the defensive line. Offensively, Hill and Waddle, you have the speed there. Achan, I like Ollie Gordon as like a thunder back to pair with Achan. Offensive line wise, they're improving. I still have my issues. I need to see it on the football field, but theoretically, they should be better at running the football, and theoretically, they should be better in like genuine pass blocking sets as opposed to the Tua get the ball out really fast, which he can still do, and you can still unlock Waddle and Hill on those. But when you have more developing routes, then you need the Patrick Pauls and the Jonah Savaneas of the world to pass block for more than 2.5 seconds. And you can let the Nick Westbrook Akines of the world work downfield and catch touchdowns. So I'm not out on Miami, but I think they'll be more of a 7-10 team than
Yeah.
a playoff team.
I can see that as well. But in fairness, I'm pretty sure I'll double check. Yeah, I do have them losing in the wild card to your Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah,
Because I do have the Bills as the 1 seed. Um,
same, but
yeah. But yeah, this is I think that I don't have any upsets in this one. This is just the higher seeds winning in the wild card round. Divisional round, we're going to get a Bills Ravens AFC Championship game. I think this is finally the year where the Ravens conquer the Chiefs. I know we saw that a few years ago where I was hoping so badly the Ravens were going to beat the Chiefs in that AFC title game. And I
aren't we
think
all?
this is the year that they're going to get it done. Unfortunately, this is now where Splash kicks me off the show. I have the Bills beating the Ravens in the AFC title game. I know.
Hmm.
Um, I just feel like Buffalo treating this year as like this has to be their year. If it's not their year, then I don't know if they're going to necessarily blow it all up just yet, but it kind of feels like enough is enough when it comes to the Bills in the AFC title game. Like they have to overcome this hurdle, and I feel like they're going to put a lot towards doing that. But this should be a very close game. Like I expect this to be like a shootout.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking forward to seeing this if it does come true.
Heartbreaking.
Off to the NFC. The NFC East, Giants in last. They have pieces. You and I have discussed this, but it is still the Giants. And again, it's an organizational history thing. It's like they've kind of have to prove that they're over their reputation and they can kind of start getting themselves back on the winning track. So we will see where that all goes with the Giants, but they do have some pieces to build on. Dexter Lawrence, namely.
The GOAT.
Cowboys. The Cowboys, actually, it's funny because they have the unfair advantage of they have a game that we can look back on, and it's like no Micah Parsons, but they looked pretty competent in their game against the Eagles. Like I think that that the defense could have been better as the game got along, but the pass rush, if they can just get home, I know that obviously losing Micah Parsons is rough, but if that pass rush gets home more. And they're not playing because they're not going to play against an O-line as tough as the Eagles every week. I wouldn't totally write the Cowboys off, but again, just that Parsons trade kind of also killed off any real momentum they had, and also CeeDee Lamb having stone hands at the worst time. So
yeah, and I have been really low on the Cowboys. On my board, I had them at 1-16, like completely serious. And even before they traded Parsons, I had them at 5-12. But they looked better than I thought they would. I don't know how much of that is this being a rivalry game, Cowboys Eagles, versus or how much of that is rust on the Eagles' part. But they bottled up Saquon quite well. Respect there. Hurts got free a couple of times. He had the 2 rushing touchdowns.
My fantasy team loved that.
Yeah, absolutely. But Dak and CD, Dak in particular was dialed in. CD was getting open, just had 4 drops on the day, which is tough.
Yeah.
And defensively, like I said, the run defense played a lot better than I thought it would. The pass rush wasn't really a factor, but as you said, Philly having the best offensive line in football does help with that.
Yeah, it does. Commanders are going to finish this. If I can get the next slide up, Commanders are going to finish this one in second. I do think they're a wild card team. I think the Commanders again are going to take another step forward. I love Jaden Daniels. As much as I hate to say it, I think Debo might actually improve things now that he is with the Washington Commanders. But that's just me having an issue with the 49ers and their team culture. So it is what it is.
Fair.
But this is still Phillies to lose. So birds are birding in this division. Not much to. I feel like this is exactly what it was last year. So I don't think a whole lot will change.
Yes.
This
year. It would be the first time since the 03 and 04 seasons that a team went back to back.
It would. That's been a curse. So maybe Washington, you got a chance, but at the very least, they're going to be a wild card team. NFC North, Chicago in last, and then this is honestly just going to be a dogfight between Minnesota, Green Bay, and Detroit. Probably, honestly, mostly between Green Bay and Detroit, but don't count Minnesota out. I still think Detroit wins it, but the only reason I even have the Vikings in third is because of my question marks surrounding JJ McCarthy. We just haven't seen him yet. And obviously, it's very rough when you are trying to start your NFL career and then you tear your ACL in your first training camp. Like, that stinks. They obviously have a lot of trust in him, though. They made him a team captain in his first year. So we'll see how things play out. And if he can plug into that offense and they don't miss a beat, then the Vikings should be, at the very least, in the conversation for this division. But Green Bay, obviously, Micah Parsons, he makes them a huge contender. Like, they probably are going to be really dangerous this year. And then Detroit being Detroit. Obviously, the questions are still there about the new coordinators, but I do still think while they might take a step back, I don't think it'll be enough to unseat them from the top of this division.
Yeah, that's fair. And this is a division that I think any of the permutations 1 through 4 makes sense. Even Chicago winning it, they have massive offensive line upgrades, and you bring in Ben Johnson, and your offense could be top 5, top 10 as soon as this year. I don't love the running back room, but they're loaded at pass catcher, wide receiver, and tight end. Again, plus offensive line. And, Caleb was a tremendous prospect. He won the Heisman at USC. He was the number one pick for a reason. So if he shows that Ben Johnson continues to have that magic, I could see the Bears potentially winning the division. I could also see them in last, even with an 8-9 record.
I mean, they could get into the wild card. You never know. They are going to totally improve, though. I think that they're going to take a step forward this year. So it helps because you draft Caleb Williams, and then you're adding a bunch of guys to surround him, and that's basically exactly how it's done. So Ben Johnson, great hire for them as well. NFC South, Saints in last. That's kind of all that needs to be said. I mean, it's hard to play at the Superdome. That's about the only advantage I can think of for them. But yeah, not going to be a great year for the Saints. Not going to be a great year for the Panthers, although Tet McMillan is a good ad. So he's a nice piece to build around. Also, they have a lot of faith in J.C. Horn at corner. And Bryce Young looks like he's improving. So maybe some pieces to build around in Philly, and with the Panthers. But there you go. We'll see what they do. Falcons in second. I hope that this is not true out of bias because the Rams have their first round pick this year, so I want them to finish 0-17. But realistically, they're probably going to finish second in the division. Tampa just feels like a very well-oiled machine right now, and Baker Mayfield at QB, Mike Evans. When they get his name is Godwin, yeah,
Godwin and Wirfs is out, but luckily for the Bucks that neither Wirfs nor Godwin were put on IR, so they could be back. They're not going to play week 1, but they could be back week 3 or week 4, probably.
That's the advantage of when you're not placed on IR, is that you can actually play after week 1. On to the NFC West. I'm out on the Seahawks. I know I was talking with you before the recording, and I think we both kind of agree that their defense is an improvement. I hate it because I hate that we lost Chris Paul Jr., but the Seahawks picking him up obviously makes them a lot better. But I still I don't have faith in their offense. I think that Cooper Kupp he's having all the health problems. We've talked about it before. He has not played a full season since the Rams won the Super Bowl. And I think him and JSN, well, JSN is solid. I like JSN, but I think that it's a bit of a downgrade over a healthy DK Metcalf and a healthy Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett, very underrated. I don't know why people don't talk about him more often. So that was a pretty big loss for Seattle. And then obviously, though, the big downgrade there is Sam Darnold at QB. Again, he is entering the same division as a team that sacked him 9 times in the playoffs. So good luck, Sam. That's all I'm going to say. 49ers at third. I don't really expect them to be a factor. I do expect them to be pesky a little bit just because they like to be very pesky. But obviously, their wide receiver room has taken a lot of hits as of late. And obviously, Christian McCaffrey, there are injury concerns there. I don't know if he's ever going to be the same running back again, even if he does play week 1 like they're saying he might. But yeah, and then I don't know. It doesn't really feel like the 49ers built upon their shortcomings of last year. And yeah, don't really see them doing a whole lot of damage this year. Cardinals at second. Again, I think they're going to be pesky. I don't think they're going to be as much pushovers as we're used to them being, but I do think they're going to be pesky. I think they finished with a winning record. I think Kyler kind of shows us some stuff this year that we haven't maybe seen before. So, but I think the Rams have just one of the best rosters in the league right now. I think that they are very, very well built, a very deep team, and they've got like a really good culture and mindset surrounding them as well right now. Like, it really feels like everyone wants to really win the Super Bowl this year. Devontae Adams has talked about how much he's loved the culture there. He said it's a really like big team first culture. Players like Jared Verse, Braden Fisk, Kobe Turner's there. He's doing really well in the D line. Byron Young, Akella Witherspoon, very underrated. Like, seriously, stop sleeping on Akella Witherspoon. Stop sleeping on Kobe Durant. Cam Kitchens. The secondary is really solid too. I think the only real question mark is Stafford's back. But the guy's tough. I expect him to last. So, your thoughts?
Okay. All right. Yeah, this is another division I think you can just throw in the dice cup and shake it up, and any order will do. I'm a little higher on Seattle's defense than you are. I'm actually lower on the Niners than you are, which is a weird spot to be in. I won't lie.
Yeah, it's a little bit weird how you put them last and I put them in third, but
Yeah.
um,
That we
yeah, I
have
don't know.
none
I
of the
get
same, like, the order is entirely different. Now, that would be true if we had one team in a different spot, but like I don't have any team in the same spot as you do. Um, I think that's the only division that's the case because I think we have the same 7 division winners otherwise.
I
So
think so.
there's some jumbling like 2 through 4 in a couple divisions, but this is the only division we have a different division winner.
Yeah, I just know like from watching the NFC West, I just know like this can get really wild. There are a lot of
Mhm.
teams that shift positions rapidly up and down every
Right.
year. Like the Niners won the division a few years ago, and then last year they finished dead last. Now, granted,
Mhm. The
injuries are the
Cardinals
reason
were
why
winning
too.
the division in week 10.
Yeah, they were. That's true. The Cardinals, 2021, when the Rams won the Super Bowl, the Cardinals were like 8-0 to start the year. They looked like they were the dead on favorites, and then they just
Yeah.
fell apart so fast it wasn't even funny. So
All because AJ Green can't catch a football.
yeah, that was a moment to say the least. If you're a receiver, kids, make sure you look for the football when it is being thrown.
Yes.
Playoff predictions for the NFC. The Rams I have at the 1 seed, but I think you could flip flop that with the Eagles too, probably. I don't think it's as set in stone with this with those top 2. Honestly, with the top 4, it could go any direction, but I'm pretty confident in Green Bay and Minnesota making the playoffs. Washington as well.
Yes.
The wild card round, we have an upset. Green Bay beats
Mm.
Tampa. And I think that Micah Parsons in the playoffs probably has a big reason to do with this. He's been in the playoffs before, but still, I think that this new environment it can really fuel a player like him. So
Mhm.
we have Detroit over Washington, and we have Philly over Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Rams gonna beat Green Bay. Eagles gonna beat the Lions, and then this is just building up to fill my agenda. Honestly, the Rams getting their revenge on the Eagles in the NFC title game. I
Okay.
think that that's the goal. I think that that's honestly it is their goal this year. I think that they've circled the Eagles on their calendar week 3. They really, really want to get back at the Eagles. So payback time this year. I believe in
Sure.
it.
Okay.
And then we of course finish the job over Buffalo in Super Bowl 60. Matthew Stafford going to win MVP. And I am willing to venture, I will say, if he wins Super Bowl MVP and the Rams do win the Super Bowl, I think he goes out on top this year. Because it's pretty obvious that his days are numbered. I don't really know how many years left. He might say at some point he wants to play another year, but I don't know how sold he is on it just yet. And the Rams, now that they have 2 first-round picks, they're pretty clearly looking for their future at quarterback in the next draft.
Mhm.
So I feel like if the Rams do ultimately win it all and Stafford gets another ring, I think he probably just decides to go out on top. So
Yeah, I think that's a fair prediction. I think the Rams are, in the wise words of the Colin Cowherd show, in the Super Bowl bubble. I wouldn't have them on top of the NFC, but I'd have them in the like that 2 through 4 cluster with Detroit, Tampa, Green Bay is probably like right on the like the edge of the bubble, like in the membrane of the bubble, if you will. Like they could be in, they could be out. Minnesota, we don't know with JJ McCarthy. People want to throw San Francisco in. I do need to see them defend the run a little bit. They play Seattle tomorrow. That should be a fun game. So I do need to see it. I wouldn't be shocked if the Rams won the Super Bowl.
okay, they've got a team. They've got a really, really deep team for it this year. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
pretty bullish on it. So we'll see what happens though. Do me a favor in the comments if you made it to the end of this video. Obviously leave a like and then comment below who you think is going to win the Super Bowl this year.